Hi, good friends. This is Freya, and thank you so much for being here. So, I want to talk today about a whole bunch of things. Actually, I don't have any notes, so please bear with me as I kind of navigate how best to convey what I'm trying to convey. So, I want to talk about the medial woman, but I have made a video on that, so I'm not going to go in depth. But I want to talk about working in our art journals, working in a way that honors both our logical mind and our intuition, our emotions, our liminal spaces, which is what the medial woman is. She is that space of anything is possible. So she is not really the seed as much as she is the potential of that seed. So she is the inside of that seed. So it's like when you get an idea, it's that thing, that you can't really quite discuss, talk about, go into depth, but it's there and it's that potentiality. So I just want to start off by saying, you know, us working in a logical way when we talk about composition and values and color from a scientific point of view, those are all really, really valuable. It's not that, the subjective, the potentiality, the emotions, intuition, it's not like that is more valuable than the logical part. They have different purposes and they have equal value. So I'm gonna bring my pad over here. So I have been working on these 100-day project mixed media portraits for, I don't know how long. And I think even my past, I want to say 20, 30 videos have all been about different aspects of, say, color, values, paint a monster, which, now I'm trying to bring in more of the emotional part, the kind of, I don't want to say illogical, but, that more like, oh, I'm just feeling this. So I did try to inject that into it. But I've been working on this particular mode, and there is nothing wrong with doing that. Like, I love working on these portraits. That being said, this particular journal over here is probably, I want to say, about 4 years old, give or take, and I wasn't stressing out about it. I really wasn't. I had worked on this page. Now I have since come in and modified it a little bit, and I did show you guys this spread a few videos back if you wanted to go see how it was. So I did modify it a little bit after the Medial Woman showed up on my pages, but I did the first spread, and then I kind of, I wasn't really stressing about it. I was working on backgrounds, and I just kind of had this idea like, hey, whenever, the journal shows up as, she wants to be, or whatever way it wants to go, it's going to make itself known. I didn't really give it like a lot of thought. I was just like, oh, I'm just going to do this and that and whatever. But, I'm not going to retell the whole story, but a week ago, I was getting really stressed out about my mixed media portraits. And I was like, I just need to take a breather. I need to do my, just backgrounds, just therapy, just that, beginner's mind, play, flow state. Okay, so this showed up, and she is the Medial Woman. And honestly, you guys, I have been journaling about it. I have been delving really deep into it. And I first came across the concept of the Medial Woman. It's from Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes about maybe 12 to 14 years ago. I actually did an art journal that really, it wasn't exploring the Medial Woman in depth, but I did use a few quotes of hers. And it actually got published in Somerset Art Journaling magazine. This was about 12 years ago. And she is actually the the bridge between the worlds. She plays a lot of different roles. And this, archetype, if you will, is found throughout the whole world. You can find her in Roman mythology, Greek mythology, Indian mythology, on the African continent. I mean, Native Americans, they all have some form or forms of the medial woman. So she is a bridge between worlds. A lot of times, she is looked upon as the protector of marginalized people. And she's got one foot in this world and one foot in the other. And she goes back and forth. She brings messages back and forth. And when I am working in my Healing Ancestral Trauma art journal, that is exactly what I'm doing. I am going through the medial woman. I am calling her forth into my work, and I am able to access pockets of information in a way that isn't always logical. Because if you think about it, if I'm trying to get back to a state of being where I was pre-verbal, so I was, a baby, I was 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, etc. How am I then going to use language to communicate with that part of myself? I cannot. Or just say I'm trying to connect with an ancestor that did not speak English. So I'm going back 3 generations, 4 or 5, whatever. I am going to have to use different ways of communicating. And I did talk about this. I think I made a video on color. I made a couple of videos where I'm kind of like touching into it. And this is very difficult to explain. It defies logic. It defies explaining it in like a sequential kind of a way. So there are times when we just have to trust ourselves. We have to trust our intuition. We have to trust our process, the way we are working. And if we go back to Jungian psychology, if we go back to Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, if we go back to the medial woman, well, I ask a question and I trust that piece of information, the answers, if you will, are going to come to me. Now, how they come to me, I don't know. When they come to me, I don't know. But they are going to come to me. They might come to me in color. They might come to me in a dream. They might come to me when I'm on a walk, whatever. I just trust that, okay, the answers are going to come to me. And I look at it like when I was working on this particular background, the medial woman just showed up. Like there's no way that I could have, I didn't plan it out. And actually I wasn't going to make a part 4 or a part 5. And then I had somebody, thank you so much. Thank you. I had somebody say, hey, yeah, I want you to do a part 5. And so I did a part 5, and I'm so glad I recorded everything. Because now I can talk about this part of it. So what I want to say is, when we work in a logical way, that is great. And we need that. That is the structure. That is the foundation. That is the kernel of the seed. But then we also have to open ourselves up to the magic. And this is true in art. This is true in life. It's part of the creative process. It's also part of life. I mean, we go through life, we plan everything out. We think, oh, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, and then, the next logical steps are 5, 6, 7, 8. But, things happen, things change. Life comes at us. And sometimes we just have to put aside logic and we have to say, you know what? I am going to invite the magic. I am going to invite all these different aspects. Like, we have a brain, so of course we need to use it. We also have emotions, we have intuition, we have our voice. We have so many different avenues that we can get information, we can express ourselves. And I think that, I know for me personally, I am opening myself up to different ways of working, different ways of getting information, different ways of bringing forth my art into the world. I've been doing it more and more with my Healing Ancestral Trauma art journal, and I am getting so much information. It's just mind-boggling to me. And, if I had to think of working in this way like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I would have just been like, oh my God, this is totally crazy. Like I wouldn't have really paid attention to it, but I'm at a point in my life right now where I'm open to it. So all I'm saying is that yes, we do want to work on the values and drawing and color theory and all of those things. That's super, super important. And we want to do that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I love working on these portraits. And also, we want to open ourselves up to working in different ways, into, bringing forth our ideas, our art, our creativity into the world. And it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. Like, I'm sure that, somebody could be listening to this video and 2 seconds in, they're like, oh my God, like, what is this person even talking about? Like, it's totally like, oh my God, like, this doesn't even make any sense. And that's okay. When I was about 23 years old, I listened to the work of Dr. Carolyn Mace, and that's MYSS. And I don't know how I just accidentally listened to her work, and I honestly thought like she was seriously like just that she had lost it. Like, I did not resonate with anything she said. I was like, oh my God, this person is totally crazy. And then 10 or so years later, I came across her work again and I understood it. I resonated with her work because I had grown. I had grown to be able to understand it. It's kind of like if you're in grade one, and somebody gives you a Shakespearean book, and you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, oh my God, like, you're not going to understand it. But, now you're in university and you're reading Shakespeare and you're like, oh my God, this is so profound. It's so deep. I resonate with this. It's touching me in an emotional way, etc. So it's the same thing. We grow, we expand, and yeah, like I said, 10 years ago, I would not have thought about working in this way. But I have been journaling about this, and, I have been working, like, I changed a little bit of this, and I started working a little bit on this. And then I think there's one other, yeah, so I started kind of working a little bit on this spread, and this is the Medial Woman. And I am so excited, you guys. I cannot tell you. Anyways, I'm just rambling on. So I'm making this video the day before Thanksgiving, but I'm going to be posting it tomorrow. And this is the perfect time to thank each and every one of you guys in this community. Thank you so much for holding space for me. Thank you for all the comments you leave. You guys are amazing. You guys are so kind. You guys are so generous with your time and with your comments and with your love. And I love you guys so much, and I'm so thankful for you guys. So if you watched all the way to the end, thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.